Magic is that thing that both is and operates the universe. That is how H. Byron Ballard defines magic in her little book titled Small Magics. Magic is power for the powerless, justice for the oppressed, the sense of agency that a dominating culture simply will not grant us. Small Magics is just under 200 pages, published in 2023 by Llewellyn, so not too long ago. The last book review I did was a book titled Big Magic. So it was quite interesting and instructive to read Small Magics right after Big Magic. And the contrast was just like it sounds. Big Magic gave me a background of empowerment, and Small Magic contains simple and fun and effective templates of how to do the daily magic in our lives. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of solid philosophy and empowerment in this book, Small Magics, especially in the earlier chapters where she's introducing and the later ones where she's putting it all together. The subtitle of the book is Practical Secrets from an Appalachian Village Witch. And the back cover of the book tells us your hands-on, back-to-basics guide to building a magical practice. In her introduction, Ballard writes, tools to live a full magical life in our deliciously magical world. And on a page later in the book, she writes, this book encourages all who read it to fall in love with magic and do it all the time. Amen. The message in the book is humble, grounded, confident, and she does say point blank, if you are a magic worker, you need to become adept. Now, it's the time. You're needed. And at the end of her book, she gives you your permission slip for that, the one you don't need, she says. Now, Ballard has written about 10 books, and this is not even her most recent. One titled Feral Church, I can't wait to get my hands on that one, is out this year. And what I love about her is that she's been witching for a long time in real life. This is not an online thing for her. I mean, she may have some social media, I don't know, but that's not central for her magic. She has descended from folk magic culture and family lines in Appalachia. And she actually gets called by her neighbors to do village witch work, and both as service and as paid work. And thus for me, what she has to say is worth listening to. Her way of life is something I would aspire to, at least in the ways that I would want to end up doing it, not necessarily her way. But now I generally make a distinction between witchcraft and magic because I think magic is bigger than everything. Ballard has them much more fused in her outlook, which is fine, wonderful. But a lot of what she says echoes what I understand and teach. I have come to my revelations independently, but it's always wonderful seeing them in other lives and their messages. And even more importantly, that we're in a time of history where this is an open conversation, if not a main conversation that is now happening. Talk about historical switch. And I'm here for it. For example, I understand the world as living, and so does Ballard. And as she puts it, everything is ensouled. I love that, ensouled. You can see she's got this beautiful artwork, which I apologize for not knowing who did that artwork. I'm going to have to look that up and put that in the description. But there's the Ensouled Magical World right there. Now, I actually heavy skimmed some of this book, especially the central chapters, because they kind of function more like a reference book. But it's precisely for that reason that, I often pass along my books to the next reader when I'm done, but I'm keeping this one because it is a reference book. Because I can see myself thumbing through the categories and getting ideas whenever the subject matter becomes relevant to me. And I would have to say that most of her tips and the way she does her practicals are not things that I'm going to use and do. But what happened is, as I was reading, I kept getting ideas for myself. Like knowing, wow, how this is how she does it, but this is how I do it, or wow, I think how that might work for me is such and such. And she says that, do your way. And it was so strange. I was reading the book, and like I said, most of it didn't apply in the moment for me, but it kind of opened another book inside of me, I guess. That was my book, right? Now she talks about energy, and which is the essence of whatever practical recipe we use. Somatic and body energy, land energy, energy harvesting, which when I teach, I call that knowledge, energy sharing. And so no matter what little practical steps you use, the building blocks of magic is taking energy in, holding that energy, seeding that energy with intention, and sending the energy out. And that's the recipe, and the rest of it is just preference or something relevant to the situation. Now, if you're a listener to my Keys of Magic series, which is the main series on my channel, I constantly invite you to choose and practice through an affinity or an art. And one of Small Magic's chapters, let me see if I can find it. We're going to go to Natural Born, and it is what is a list of divining gifts. And and often people are born with these in their raw version, but you don't have to be. So that chapter even alone may be worth reading to see if anything there rings your bell, if you're still searching for something that you would want to develop or want to add to that. And one of my favorite magics that Ballard describes that I don't think I had ever thought of is candy magic. She talks about candy magic in depth, and I was so delighted by that. I can see myself getting into that. And another of my favorite spots in the book is in the grounding chapter, where she talks about the different skies she has been under, which goes along with different land surfaces that she has stood on. And again, we're talking about energy and the aliveness, the ensoulment of the world that we're in, the magic. And, if you think about it, whenever you stand upon a ground, you are also standing under a sky. And the descriptions she gave of the skies that she's been under was really beautiful. And skies are not all the same, and not all lands are the same, even though we're all connected. So I would call Small Magics a beginner's book. Great for that. Like if you're like, this is where I'm starting, do start here. But I would also call it a reminder book. So if you've been practicing for a while and want a way to review your ideas, your energy, your techniques, and just develop in some of your gaps or something like that, it's also a good book for that. That's kind of what it felt like for me. Just like, oh, this is how I do it, even just being self-aware of how much magic I do daily, just walking around. So I love this book. And If you see yourself adding small magics to your collection, if you are so inclined, I invite you to purchase through the link in the video description. I earn a small commission, and I appreciate the support. Thank you for spending time with me, and I'll see you around the channel. Check, if this is your first video, check me out. I've got lots of stuff going on the channel. We'll see you around. You have a great day.